How's it going, friends? I'm out here on a nice little hike / jaunt in the Arizona mountains, and I thought I would go ahead with my next episode here, Walking the Path. So I believe I touched off at the end of my ceremony. Well, it was the mid-ceremony when I had the experience of Horus coming down to see me, telling me to remember who I was. A very profound event in my life, as I've touched on a great many times here. I just want to kind of continue from there and speak about a few different things. First off, I just want to talk about that divinity, that God state, that divine presence that's within each one of us. One thing I want to make clear is that I am nobody special or separate or different or anything in that manner in regard to anybody else, any being on this planet or on any planet ever. We all have the connection to that divine source within us, to the kingdom of heaven, to that Christ consciousness, to that Buddha consciousness, to whatever it is you want to call it. And through our own healing work and our deep dives within ourselves, we're able to find that space again. Truthfully, I'm just a vessel or a mirror or an example of somebody who's doing that work. And when you clear your heart of all the densities and negative energies within yourself, you're able to see yourself in a new light again and remember parts of yourself that were always there, that will always be there. It's a quite beautiful experience, and that's one of the main reasons I'm putting these videos out is, I want people to see that you can come from ruining your life basically with drugs and alcohol and hating yourself and feeling less than and all of these things for the majority of your life, and you can rise out of that. You can use that as fuel. You can become the alchemist and use these negative experiences to create positive ones and to find your inner strength within yourself. And that's all I'm really trying to do, is to be an example of somebody who's fighting for the truth with faith down the good red road in the beauty way, and try to always do my best. And I may fall short. None of us are perfect, but it's important for our soul, our spirit, our emotional health that we do what we feel is right. And one thing I've learned through a lot of these ceremonies and working with these energies is there are some darknesses out there. There are some dark forces at work in our world and in the universe. They say the Earth is a microcosm or a fractal of the entire universe, and that's why so many call them aliens or spirit guides or interdimensional beings, or even they call them the indigo children or the children of the sun. All of these different star seeds being born on this planet at this time. It's because there's a climactic point that's coming. And considering the fact that we are a fractal of the entire universe, if we are able to heal this planet here, it will heal the entire universe from these darknesses. And one thing I learned when I started having some of these transcendent experiences, hi buddy, little cottontail rabbit, when I was started to raise my vibration, it's almost like a beacon, a ping that went out. And since then, I've had a lot of challenging events where some dark entities, dark forces, dark groups energetically in the ethers that have come after me. And it's been somewhat of a struggle, and me trusting my intuition, trusting myself, trusting my direction, trusting a lot of different things. But truthfully, sinking into the space of yourself and having gratitude for all experience has made things so much easier and has led me down the road with which I believe that I am destined to walk. Sri Ramana Maharaji used to say, I'm going to butcher it a bit, but basically, whatever is destined to happen is going to happen. Try as you will to change it. And whatever is destined not to happen is not going to happen. Try as you will to make it happen. So it really comes down to just trust and cultivating that trust. It's a relationship that goes both ways, and it's like, if you have all these blessings in your life and you train yourself not to see them by thinking of all the negative things in your life, but if you train yourself to constantly look at the blessings in your life, look, even if it's a small thing, like, oh man, look at this water I have to drink today. Thank you, Great Spirit. Thank you, God. Thank you, whatever it is you want to call that energy. It begets more blessings into your life. Focusing your brain on the positive trains your brain to manifest the positive into your life. We really do create our reality. It's scientific proof that there is a superposition of electrons in all atoms, which basically means all possible structures of any reality exist at once. And it's your conscious interpretation of what they are going to become that collapses that wave into a particle reality. Whatever you believe reality to be, it becomes. I cannot stress that enough. The most important part of the healing process is to cut those areas of ourselves, not cut them out, but to work with them gingerly, hold them, to lovingly give attention to them and space for those feelings to flow. When we ignore them and push them away, it makes them stronger. It's like a pendulum. You try to push something away, it swings away and it comes back and it hits you again. The only way to, in my experience, work with these energies is to bring them in with love and to hold them with that love. What is it that you're trying to show me, brother? What is it that you need from me? What is it? And to let them know that you will be there. And you're not trying to destroy that energy. You're trying to help it to flow. And to be at peace. And to become one with its true divine nature again. I've talked quite a bit about ceremony lately on these videos, and I think I'm gonna just kind of go forward to a couple of other experiences with regressions and one other ceremonial regression that I had, and then kind of move on from there. I think I'd like to start with, we were having a ceremony with, I can't remember the name that we had at the time, but we had branched off from Iatixi and Pachamama Sacred Paths and began doing our own thing at the time. This church really only lasted for 1 or 2 ceremonies, but there was quite a few of the people that would go on to continue with Rainbow Soul Circle and Iatixi, which is still going, from what I understand, in Mexico as well. But the most profound experience that I had during the ceremony, I'm not going to touch on all the different days, was when I was on a San Pedro, and there was a sound bath healing that a colleague of mine and a friend was doing to work on some energies that were held in my system to release. And I remember laying down and feeling very uncomfortable. We had about probably 15 different sound bowls all around me, and feathers and fans and rattles and all kinds of different stuff like that. And yeah, they began the sound healing with different vibrations and bowls and setting different things in different areas, crystals on my back and things of that nature. It's very similar to a Reiki healing in some sense. I felt a lot of energetic movement happening. And as this continued, I started to have flashbacks to myself in a different life. It was a version of me that looked very much like me now, but I flashed to being in a sort of part of a castle area, like a bedroom, and talking to my wife at the time. Like I was going through these memories of a dream, and there was a bear that came to me in my dream, and he told me, "Brother, I need your help, and but to help me, you're going to have to give your life. But if you do so, I will be here to protect you and your lineage for the rest of the time." He said that I have been stuck in this body and transformed into this bear that will only be able to be killed with love and not hatred or fear. And it was by a dark coven of witches. And they had been sicking this bear on different villages to gain control of the time in the area. It was like a witch bear, a spirit bear. And I felt a deep connection to the bear, like I had known him from lifetimes before. But it's very like, well, what am I going to have to do? He said, "You're going to have to kill me to release me from this. But in doing so, it will mean giving your own life." So after conversing with the bear, I eventually agreed to this. And I woke up the next day, and I told my wife at the time, which was actually a girl that I ended up dating in this lifetime. And I told her, "I'm going to die tonight." And she didn't believe me. She thought I was like, what are you're talking crazy, blah, 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 blah. But I remember telling her, "I love you, and something's going to happen tonight." And then flash forward to that evening in the regression that I was having. And this was the most intense, like, lifetime regression that I had ever had. I was on a very low dose of medicine that day, hardly any at all. I was just holding space for the ceremony. And it was playing like a movie, like my own memories, in a way that I hadn't. I mean, I'd had short little regressions before that into experiences from past lives, but nothing that was. It was like I experienced the entire morning, the nighttime before, that morning talking to my wife, leading up to that afternoon. And it was like towards that afternoon, that night, when I kind of flashed to again, and I was sitting on horseback, ironclad. Like I had chainmail on, completely ready for battle, and the horse as well. And I could remember also earlier that day speaking to the king at the time, which was actually my brother in this memory, and telling him what was going to happen. And so he had us ready, some of the, I don't know what you would call it, infantry, some of the fighters, some of the knights, whatever we were in that time period, for this event. For my brother in that lifetime knew that I was able to touch spaces with the divine. I was somewhat of an intermediary from what it felt like in the dream. Like he trusted my words in that, what it felt like in the regression. And then I remember it was as soon as the person doing the sound bath healing started beating the drums, then there was this boom, 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 boom. And I could see these dark hooded figures off in the distance. And they began walking up towards me, towards the castle area. And there was like a front, like a wooden gate that was closed to keep people out. We had everything shut up, locked up tightly. And there was this big, huge bear that came and started slamming into the front gates. And while they were singing some kind of hymn and beating these drums, and I remember the bear broke through the gates and got to an area in the castle, I was up on this higher area where I could see out. And I remember I can hear the hooves of the horse as I ran down it was like a stair area that was stone. And it was like clack, 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 clack. Because it was getting into an area of the castle where there were people. And my horse like ran into the bear, and I fell off. The bear knocked my horse over. And then I was like in the grips of the bear. And I remember stabbing the bear in the neck area with a sort of sword or knife that I had, like over and over and over at the time while he was biting me, and I could feel it crunch, 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 crunch down onto my neck here. And just the most vivid memories. And then a deep, deep, deep sadness and pain came over me, and I started uncontrollably sobbing. And it was like this part of my soul had never really known if it had died in vain in that life. And through my touching its energy again and going through these memories, it was able to be released. It was like it knew that everything was okay and that it didn't die for no reason. That I didn't die for no reason. And then the bear, he came around to me after that, and he was holding my son in that lifetime. He said, "Thank you, brother." He said that he would always be there to protect me and my family line. And he told me that actually I was my own great grandson, or however many times it was in this life, and that this lifetime was a repayment for giving my life. To save his. And to release him from that curse that he was stuck in. And that's when I got he called me Brother Bear. That's when I got that medicine name. He said, I will always be known as Brother Bear. But yeah. It's a beautiful thing when you do touch these spaces. It's daunting at first, it's different, it's scary, it's a lot. But it also expands your level of comfort in different areas. Your comfort zone gets larger, and you're able to be comfortable in these spaces more and more the more that you do touch them. And I really want to touch on these things because I want you all to know that it's okay for these kind of experiences to happen to you, and you're not crazy. As much as your family or people in your life or maybe even your own thoughts may tell you at times. I certainly have been there. But I also, through these experiences, have become the best man I've ever been in my life. I've learned to trust myself and my heart. And to know what is right. I wanted to touch on 2 other regressions that I had. I highly recommend doing some research and trying these for yourself. But 2 of them were a past life regression that I did and a higher self regression, or a higher self meeting meditation. Both would be a form of meditation. And basically, I'll start with the higher self meditation. I was led through a series of basically starting in a normal meditation, finding your center, and then rising up to a space above yourself, like say 20 feet up, and seeing yourself from that angle. Then rising up to a space above your city, and then looking over and seeing the entire area from that angle in the stillness. And then rising up to an area that would be above your state, and then seeing everything and becoming one with everything in that space. And then rising up to an area above your country and seeing yourself and realizing yourself as everything within that space and becoming still. And then rising up to above the entire planet and seeing yourself as that entire space and becoming still in that space. And then rising up above the entire universe and becoming still and seeing yourself as that entire space. And then following this thread from your heart that was like a fishing line that went up and up and up and up and up through these different layers until you find a room that is designed of your own design. I walked through this hallway and opened the door, and it was like a big library. And with books all along the walls and an open window on one side with like the sun gleaming in. Very like shiny and golden almost. All of it. Like a golden room. And they had you sit down in a comfortable chair in the room. It was a guided meditation. Someone was walking me through it. And across from me, they tell you that you will see your higher self. And I look across from myself, and at first it was like kind of an energy of like just this golden energy that slowly started to materialize. And as it materialized, there was a big lion being, what I like to call a Lyran, star being, or star seed, or however you want to call it. And I believe that they're the beings that come from Lyra, some of the oldest in the universe, from what I understand, that have gone through multiple different lifetimes on different planets. And long, like curly hair, but a lion face and very humanoid, and had like this golden armor all around. Everything was golden. And through the guided meditation, they told him to talk to them for about 30 minutes. And we discussed a lot of different things. I would ask him questions and questions and questions. And it's funny because as soon as you would start to formulate a question, the answer was in your head and you already knew. One of the things I remember very clearly is I asked, how many lifetimes have I lived? He said 1737. So this is 1738, he said. And then I asked what his name was, what my name was, and he told me it was Marisyahe Idayahe. And then it took me to a space where we were both like standing apart from each other, and the guided meditation did, and there was this golden string of energy between our hearts. And they told me to focus on that connection that we had, to feel that connection. And so, in this meditation, I focus and I feel that connection to my higher self. And I remember looking down and seeing my hands, and they were like paws, like with claws, like cat or dog hands. You know how they're much thicker from walking on them all the time? And I had fur. That's exactly how I could remember seeing my arms, seeing myself, being that version of myself. And the thing is, through all of our lifetimes and iterations, they're, in my understanding and interpretation, happening simultaneously. These aren't things that are happening in the past or things that happen in the future. Everything happens in the present. There is only one. We are one thing, one being, one energy. And all of these different timelines and all of these different things are simultaneous things that are happening in the present moment. To spirit, we are one. To ourselves, to our true self, we are one. So all your different avatars, all your different past lives, all of that knowledge is with you always, because it's happening right now in the present. You are interconnected and interwoven in this big web of energies with all the different versions of yourself. And really, all of us are a fractal microcosm of the entire universe. You really are not just a drop in the ocean, but the entire ocean in a drop. And through these meditations and techniques, you're able to touch these spaces within yourself. I want to touch on that again. I'm nothing special. I'm nobody special. I'm just one of everybody and all these beings that are out here. I'm just myself, which is what you are too. And through healing work and meditation, and you can have these experiences. You can have divine, biblical, magical experiences yourself. It is possible, and it is actually probable if you start down the healing road. It's almost undeniable. I would say it is undeniable and unstoppable once you start down the healing road. Once you start living in that Christ consciousness, in that 5D higher dimensional energy. And that's not saying, that you're not going to make mistakes, that you're not going to do things that you shouldn't. I do that all the time still. I make mistakes, I do stupid things, but I do my absolute best always to approach every situation with a good heart and to find out within myself why it is I'm doing what it is I'm doing. Is it out of love? Is it out of fear? Is it out of lack mentality? Is it out of positivity? Is it out of... What is the intention behind whatever it is I'm doing, behind everything that I'm doing? What do I intend for this to what outcome am I intending to see happen, and why? And then I do my best to give up my attachment to that outcome, to let go and let God. All we can do is be a vessel for that, for ourselves to come through, and so much our ego, what we want, gets in the way. And it's literally like God wants to give you something amazing and bring beautiful energies into your life, but you try to force it into a certain experience or a certain thing to happen, and that's what's keeping you from having the good things happening. It's trying to have it done your way. And when I was with Marisyahe, Ideyahe, my higher self, with myself, it took me back to an area where it was like rewinding through all the different lifetimes. It was like boom, 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 boom. Each time it would come back, I would see the planet that I was on, and then the entire universe, and then it would come back to a different planet that I was on in a different lifetime, and the entire universe above that, in these like bubble form fashion. And it got all the way where it was literally the 1700 or however many 1738 or 1737 lifetimes before that, these bubbles on bubbles on bubbles on bubbles on bubbles, as I regressed all the way back to the life that was my highest self. And it felt like a space wizard sitting up there in the highest dimension of the universe, watching over them all. And that was my higher self. And he was like, relax, brother, I have got you, I've got us, we have got us, we know what we're doing. We've gone through this almost a couple of thousand times to get this right, to understand who we need to be in this lifetime. And it's gonna be okay, no matter what. After each lifetime, through each lifetime, we are always and have always been that divine source that shines through us. That space from which we come from. The sky from which all things, all clouds of emotion and experience pass through. it's quite a beautiful thing. Today I was going to do a little pipe ceremony here. So if you'd like, continue to sit with me. I'm going to open up some sacred space and do a pipe ceremony, send out some prayers to all of you today. Kind of do a timeless group healing and prayer ceremony. So anytime that you're watching this, know that it's the right time and that these energies are going to be with you. And my prayers will be with you, that all of my guides and everybody I call in, my ancestors, the spirit of the mountains, the Apus, all of the plant nation, animal nation, stone nation, the spirit nation, Great Spirit, him and herself, will be with you. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the phone down and start getting a little ceremony ready. This would be a tepi that I've talked about in past videos. This is for serving in ceremony for hape or yopo or anything that goes up the nose. You'll take it and I'll give some examples of that in later videos. This would be a kiripe. It's a double nose kiripe. You fill with the hape and then you will self-administer the hape or the yopo or whatever medicine it is that you're using. These are chuyas or chumpi stones. Chuya stones, chumpi stones, what I understand. Chumpis, though, I believe, are the energetic belts. These would represent the different chakras. So we use these to do readings on the chakras and to also cleanse and to center the chakras, which I will do for the collective as a group ceremony just here shortly. Some of the things I've learned from these to work with these stones have been things that I have been taught by different teachers. Some of them are things that I have just intuitively learned myself. And I kind of lean towards that intuitive knowledge. I think intention is the most important thing that you can do with any ceremony, is what you intend to bring to it. You know, there has been different teachers that I have had that have been somewhat of energy vampires that will interweave succubus energies into your system, and that will try to control or manipulate your power and your energy for their own benefit. So I want you all to be very cognizant of that working with people. At any time, just know that not all of the energies and teachers and people out there have your best interests at heart. So always touch base with your higher self, you know, and ask if this is something that's okay. One thing that I recommend too is trusting that feeling. There was a great many times through my journey where I did not listen to my heart in the beginning, and I allowed things to slide that did not resonate with my heart and felt like they were wrong. And by not standing up for what I believed was right, I was condoning it. So please, brothers and sisters, speak your truth. Stand up for what you believe is right. Now, before I do any work with any of this, I'm going to burn some sage and cleanse this all and do some cutting, energetic cords, anything that may be remaining from any different angles and dimensions for myself and for all beings in all timelines, dimensions, and universes. Towards any negativity, this is a bag made from my grandmother Kathy Two Hawks to hold my pipe. Love you, Kathy. Can't wait to see you at the gathering this year. This is my grandmother Carol Whitewater Dawn's pipe. It was passed down to me by my grandmother June after my grandfather Cliff Winter Fox Buchanan passed. Great honor. I do not take lightly to walk under the pipe and to do my absolute best to be a representative of what that means. One thing that's very important, you're always going to want to clean the pipe before and after use. Just out of respect, the pipe is the intermediary between realms. This is how we touch the other side and send our prayers to the other side. In the Lakota tradition, when the white buffalo calf woman came to teach the people, this was the tool, one of the tools at least, that she brought with her to teach them of how to pray correctly and how to connect with Creator. Wakantanka. Okay. I'm going to move this to a different angle, hopefully, in hopes that you can see a little bit better. Maybe going on here. Hopes that will show a little bit better here. First off, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of tobacco and sage at the 4 directions. Just out of respect and to cleanse the space. Something that I like to do. You can mix them together or do them separately. I kind of like to mix them together myself. We thank you to the East. We ask for you to be with us here in this ceremony. We call to you to the South. We thank you and we ask for you to be here with us through this ceremony. We give thanks to the West. We call to you, brother, to be here with us through the ceremony, brother and sisters. Oh, to the North, we give thanks. And we ask for you to be with us with your healing knowledge here through this ceremony. Through above, below, and within. Call to you to be here with us through this ceremony. Aho matak vyasam. excess energy from this bowl, we would ask that all beings in all timelines and dimensions find their power and their direction, their sense of their karpa, their personal power, that they may follow their hearts and their directions that Great Spirit sees fit. Oh, matak vyasan. Oh. Smoke, Great Spirit, we ask that you help us as we cleanse these energies for myself, and for all beings in all timelines and dimensions and universes. From anything that would be before us, may we wipe that away. Anything that would be in front of us, that we would have any issues that would be weighing on our mind, that we cut those ties and give them back to Pachamama for transmutation. Oh, matak vyasan. For anything on our side from our masculinity that would be holding us back, that would hold us and bind us to any fears and lower vibrational energy, we ask that you help us as we cut those energies away. Oh, matak vyasan. Oh, as we give those energies back to Pachamama. Oh, they may be transmuted to our feminine side, Great Spirit. We ask that you would help us as we would sever any ties that would keep us from our creative energy, that would keep us from our flow, from our loving, nurturing energy. We want to sever all of those ties and negative attachments. And we give that back to Pachamama. Oh, matak vyasan. From anything behind us, Great Spirit. Anything that we feel has held us back, that we would feel connected to, that would pull us back into negative emotions and energies, we ask that you cut those away from us. Oh, matak vyasan. Oh, give those back to Pachamama so that she may transmute those energies. Oh, matak vyasan. Oh, we ask, Great Spirit, that you would help us as we sever ties from our mind, from our mental space. May we cut those away, that we may be connected through our heart, in our heart space, that we may fly like the angels that we are. Oh, matak vyasan. Oh, that you may let the eagle and the condor fly together again in the hearts of myself and in all beings in all timelines and dimensions and universes, all five-finger beings, to all different beings, all aspects of the self. Oh, matak vyasan. Oh, matak vyasan. Oh. Ask, Great Spirit, you would assist me as I cleanse this mesa, these stones, all energies that would have been from previous people that have touched and healed and used any kind of energies through this, that I may be one in my own, and that all beings, all timelines and dimensions may be one in their own, without attachment, without energetic cords and ties to anything that they do not wish to be tied to or condone being tied to. Oh, Matak, we ask that you allow us the space, that we would connect with our own divinity, that we would know ourselves once more. Oh, Matak, we ask. We call on the east, and the winds of the east. Ahora su rising sun, Taitaenti, Santua, with the new energy, the birthing energy, the newborn energy, that we may find peace, joy. We call to the eagle and the condor. We would ask that you would fly together again in the hearts of all beings, all timelines and dimensions and universes. Oh, Matak, we ask, that we may find that balance and harmony of the masculine and feminine energies. That the here and now that we would be present in, that this space, this timeless present, that you would allow us to be here and fly with us in a grounded fashion to ever greater heights. Oh, Matak, we ask him. Thank you to the east. Thank you to the winds of the east. Thank you to the rising sun of two horizons. Oh, Matak, we ask him. Oh, Matak, we ask him. Oh, to all things in the here and now in the present. To all things. Oh, Matak, we ask him. Thank you. We call in the south. The winds of the south. Ampui, come to me, south. We call in the maru. We call in the coyote. We call in the wolf. Ampui, hermano, hermana. We call in the nagas, sachamama. All of the energies associated with the south. We would ask that you be with us for this energy of the adolescence, of knowing ourselves once more, that we may look at ourselves in our past energies, and we may shed our past self and our past skins in the way that you would shed your skin, Amaru, Sachamama. Thank you, great mother of waters, as you wrap your clothes of light around us. Oh, Matakiasne, oh, Matakiasne, oh. We thank you for this chance to be born anew, great mother. Oh, Matakiasne. To know ourselves once more. We thank you to the south and the winds of the south. We thank you to the wolf, the coyote. We thank you, Amaru, Sachamama. We thank you to all of the guides and the energies of the south. Oh, Matakiasne. Oh, we call on the west and the winds of the west. Oturango and the bear, my brothers. Ampui. We call on the moon. We call on the waters. We call on the world of the unknown, the womb space of the Great Mother. Oh, Matak, we ask in the great cave of the self, that we may dive deep within and learn and know ourselves once more. Oh, Matak, we ask in. Oh, we call on your wisdom, your energy, your peace, in knowing that all things exist and reside within you. We ask for your trust and your guidance as we transform these lower vibrational energies of angst and fear and shame, that we may transform these energies into love. Oh, Matak, we ask you. Oh, Matak, we ask you. Oh, gracias, 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 gracias to the west and the winds of the west. We thank you greatly. Oh, Matak, we ask you. Oh, oh. We call in the north, the winds of the north. Come to me, Spirit, come. Oh, Matakiakim. Oh. We call in Zadkiel. We call in Jorel, Anel. We call in you Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, Ragel. We call on you, Jeremiel, Tophael, Sandalphon. We call on all the archangels, the high vibrational beings. I call on you, Krishna. Call on you, Shiva. Call on you, Rama. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Thank you, Great Mother. Hare Rama. Hare Krishna. We call on Jeshua. We call on Buddha. We call on the Great Mother Mary. We call on the White Buffalo Calf Woman. We call on Oya. Ampui. We call on Shango. Ampui, brother. Ampui. Ampui. We call on Odin. We call on Horus and Hathor. Call on Isis and Osiris. Ampui, 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 Ampui. Gracias, come to me, Spirit, come to me. We call on the Quiero and the Huascar lineage. We call on the Navajo, the Pueblo. We call on the Lakota, Muskogee. I call on you, Bearheart. I call on you, Carol, Whitewater Dawn. I call on you, Cliff, Winterfox, Buchanan. I call on all of my ancestors, 7 generations and beyond. I call on all generations to come, 7 generations and beyond. And that's what you bring your guidance, your healing energies, your wisdom, your knowledge of the other side of death, of knowing oneself, to me and to all beings in all timelines and dimensions and universes. We call to the medicine men and women across this planet of all faiths, of all nationalities, of all beliefs and creeds. We would ask that you bring your knowledge and healing energies to this circle. Oh, Matashi Yasin, oh, Matashi Yasin, oh, Matashi Yasin, oh. Gracias, 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 gracias. We ask that you, Creator, Great Spirit, we call on you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for everything in our lives. Thank you for all opportunities to grow, to know ourselves once more. Feel your love and understanding and grace. Thank you, Holy Grace. It is our honor to walk in your honor. Oh, Mata Kriyasin. Oh. That is what we would call the opening of sacred space. Now, just for the length of the video, I'm going to cut short on the cleansing here for the chakras. Now I'll work with you guys on the chakra cleansing in the next video, but I just want to go ahead with a pipe ceremony here with and for everybody. As the sage is still smoldering here, I'm just cleansing the pipe one more time after I've already cleansed everything. We call to you again, and we thank you, East, and the winds of the East. We ask that you join us here in this pipe, and you join us in all times, in all dimensions and universes, always. We call on the South, the winds of the south, and we would ask the same, that you would join us here in this pipe today, in all timelines and dimension and universes, and in all ways, that you would be with us and walk with us. Ho matak we ask, and ho. We call in the west and the winds of the west, and we would ask that you would join us here in this pipe, and in all pipes, and in all timelines, and in all dimensions and universes. Ho matak we ask, ho. We call in the north again, in the winds of the north. We would ask that you would join us here, and in all times, in all dimensions and universes, and always. Ho matak we ask, and ho matak we ask, and ho. Thank you, Great Spirit. Ho matak we ask. We'd like to call on the animal nation. We would ask that you would join us here in this pipe today. We thank you for your companionship, for your love, for your nutrition, for helping us to eat and sustain our bodies here out of beauty in the beauty way. Ho matak we ask. And we call in the plant nation all of your healing herbs. We thank you, brothers and sisters. Thank you for all that you bring to us. It's a great honor to walk beside you. Ho matak we ask. We'd ask that you bring your healing energies and knowledge into this pipe here today for myself and for all beings in all timelines and dimensions and always. Ho matak we ask. Ho. We call on the Stone Nation, brothers who have been here from the beginning of time. We would ask that you would bring your knowledge, your wisdom, all that you are into this pipe for myself and for all beings in all dimensions and universes and timelines. Ho matak we ask. Ho. We call on the waters of the earth and of all waters and all timelines and dimensions and universes, that you would bring your knowledge, your healing energy, your flow, that you would give flow to these prayers and these emotions and to all that we would ask of you in honor and in the beauty way to myself and in all beings in all timelines and dimensions and universes. Ho matak we ask. Ho. Gracias, 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 gracias. We call on the Spirit Nation once again. We would ask that you would bring yourselves and all that you are into this pipe for myself, for all beings, for all timelines and dimensions and universes, that we may find peace and harmony and growth and joy and love and balance once more on this plane and in all planes. Ho matak we ask, and in the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Ho matak we ask, and in the name of the Great Spirit. Ho matak we ask, and ho matak we ask, and ho matak we ask, in the name of the Ascended Masters. Ho matak we ask, and we ask that you, Great Spirit, Creator, will join us in this pipe. We thank you for our lives, for all experiences that we've had. We thank you, Great Spirit. We would ask that you would bring knowledge and joy and understanding and connection with you to all beings in all timelines and dimensions and universes, to all things that are, to all things that have been or will be. Ho matak we ask, in the name of the Most High. Aho. As I connect this pipe, ask Great Spirit that we would join the masculine with the feminine within myself, within all things that would be, that the condor and the eagle would fly together again in the hearts of all things and all beings and all timelines and all creatures, and that we may find harmony once again. Ho matak we ask, ho matak we ask, ho. Now, as I smoke this pipe, I'll be sending out these prayers for myself and for all of you through the veil to the higher dimensions. And we would ask with honor Great Spirit, that you would see us and you would see these prayers for the betterment of all and all times and all beings. Aho Matak, yes. I'm being called to pull and read one of these cards of the Great Medicine Wheel by Great Spirit. Please, Great Spirit, you may have a message here for the collective. What would you like to tell us? What would be of importance to myself, for all beings? If there is a message you would like us to know, please let me know what that would be now. It's the Frog Clan. Cleansing, release, and healing. In this overwhelming time, the Frog Clan card symbolizes the feeling of swimming against the current. When we're working against our own nature and allowing the past worries to build, we need Frog Clan to aid in clearing away the heavy emotional baggage. In this state of high stress, even the simplest obstacle seems magnified. Release the pressure and heal yourself on all levels. Let the flow of tears wash away your pain and leave you feeling cleansed. The Frog Clan cleanses on the healing that is needed by you or someone close to you. By being empathetic and allowing others to freely express their feelings, you can offer the support they need. Never underestimate the power of compassion. Frog Clan teaches us to connect to the healing powers of water, which is the emotional flow within our lives. If the flow is dammed up, then we begin to feel the pressure building within us. Allow your emotions to flow freely and encourage the same in others. Through the gift of the Frog Clan, I learned to connect with the healing aspects of water. Within the flow, I learned to freely express my emotions and cleanse away any negativity. I offer compassion to myself and to others. For this, my spirit is stronger. Gaho mata kriyasan. I thank you all, brothers and sisters, for sitting with me, for following me on this path, and for all out there who have any questions or just like somebody to talk to. I'm always going to be here for you. So reach out at any time. I'd be happy to speak with you, to do any kind of cleansing or healing ceremonies with you at any time. Your brother, always in honor and holy grace. Matthew, Maverick, Madisyahe, Hidayahe, Running Wolf, Brother Bear, Blue Bird, Eagle Eye, Xavier Sky Iron, Iron Dog, White Buffalo, Thunderbird, Steel Miller. Now hold my taquias, and I love you all.